Rich, maybe not right now in terms of money, but in terms of experience. Very few industries that you've not had knowledge of, very few types of businesses that you haven't tried.
Started my journey in stock market. Stock market के बारे में जरा देख लो क्योंकि that's the easiest way to access money. Even my parents didn't know how to actually manage that business.
For a son, father is the first superhero that he,
In one night, I almost fired 4-3 people. So when I first earned something, it was very beautiful. People should go out of the comfort zone. So a lot of time people have hesitation. Should I go? खुद से effort डाले क्या? सामने से ऐसा बात करे क्या?
One of your experience, which a lot of our students also experience, is moving from Maharashtra to Rajasthan, from Bombay to Jaipur.
So what I did, I started to look for colleges जिसमें मेरे को सीखने को भी मिले और एक्सपीरियंस भी मिले. GCC के बारे में पता लगा. उसमें 3 घंटे का कॉलेज, उसके ऊपर इंटर्नशिप करो या फिर बिजनेस करो.
Hello and welcome guys to another episode of Meet the Entrepreneur, and today we have with us Durgesh Shetty. He is one of the richest entrepreneurs and the students I have met. Rich, maybe not right now in terms of money, but in terms of experience, which, if you ask me, counts more than the money. We have so many stories and so many we have already discussed. So many are we going to discuss today. I hope that you also learn something from him, and so do I. Welcome, Durgesh, to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I know that you have, there are very few industries that you have not had knowledge of, very few types of businesses that you haven't tried. So before anything else, I would want to know that how did you get yourself to work so hard or, try anything and everything that comes your way?
Initially, it started as a hobby.
Okay.
So हम क्या करते हैं बचपन में अपने पेरेंट्स को देखते हैं. तो my father is an entrepreneur, is a businessman. My mother is also a entrepreneur.
Okay, that's nice.
तो बचपन में मैं देखता था वो काम दौड़ कर रहे हैं, भाग दौड़ कर रहे हैं. एंड बचपन से जैसे बनिए लोग के घर पे बिजनेस का ही बात होता है.
बिल्कुल.
हम बनिए नहीं है बट हमारे घर पे भी बिजनेस का ही बात होता था.
Okay.
तो आई थिंक आई वाज इन 8 तब से मेरे को बिजनेस में पैसे कमाने में इंटरेस्ट बहुत आने लगा. सो इनिशियली आई started my journey in stock market कि stock market के बारे में जरा देख लो क्योंकि that's the easiest way to access money. क्योंकि वो money market से
get to a business.
Correct.
All you need is a laptop and an internet connection, or even a phone in today's time, right? And you are in one of the biggest markets in the world in no time. So yeah.
But it was just like a hobby, interest. Slowly and gradually मैं और deep जाता गया और knowledge लेता गया. बिजनेस केस स्टडीज वो सब जो नॉर्मल बेसिक लोग सब करते हैं.
Okay.
One turning point came. My mom used to run a business, vegetable business.
Okay.
And at one point, that was a loss-making business. So we had an option.
Okay.
So to sell off that business. So when I say sell off, we had that land in a partnership with a person.
Okay.
So either we can scrap that land and get rid of the business, or we can continue that business.
Fair enough.
So we had a huge discussion in the family.
Okay.
And mom dad decided कि we'll get rid of the land and we'll get rid of the business क्योंकि it's not our core business. Our core business, my father is into construction and restaurant. But it wasn't our core business.
Also losing money, so something had to be done about it.
Because it was completely different from our values, our core system.
What you know since generations.
Even my parents didn't know how to actually manage that business. It was all new for them also. And it's also risky.
It is. So didn't you have any say in your family when they were making a decision about the land? Didn't you get to say something?
So I'm being honest right now. At that time, I didn't even know how to talk with people.
Okay.
I didn't know what to say, how to act properly. My English wasn't this good. But I had a urge कि I want to get out of my comfort zone. कुछ करते हैं. थोड़ा सा ये भी टेंडेंसी था कि पापा को इम्प्रेस करते हैं.
Exactly, like
parents का validation is one of the greatest motivation for children. But somehow I just told my dad कि पापा आपने बहुत बचपन में Just like me, I was 16 years old then.
Okay.
So just like me, he started his journey, matlab काम का journey in age 13.
Okay, that's
So I related to that कि आपने इतना जल्दी चालू किया, तो why not I should do it.
Yeah, of course.
And he was super proud, super helpful towards it, and he said चलो ठीक है.
That must
do
be a
it.
very happy moment. Like not even doing something, just saying that you're gonna help him. And since in India and all across the world, for a son, a father is the first superhero that he comes across. And throughout your life, you want that validation. You want that superhero to be as proud of you as possible. Okay, so what happened next? Tell us.
What happened was I had a conversation with my mom because mom had a emotional attachment with that business. Okay. So first I had to get rid of that attachment. I have to get rid of some of the employees. The baggage, the employees, the systems. What I did in one night, I almost fired 4-3 people who were twice my age. I didn't
16.
At 16, somewhere 40, 45, 50, and they were just messing up the business. I'll agree, at that time, I didn't know how to talk, how to act, but I still had a urge to do something good. So what I did, I just started. मैं देखा नहीं कि क्या जा रहा है, कैसे जा रहा है. I just wanted to fix that business. And later it even scaled to 10,000. In vegetable business, 10,000 rupees per day, it's a good amount.
It's a decent amount, it is.
And for a 17-year-old, it was a great amount.
It was exactly.
So, yeah, that was a very great journey. So, that is where it all got started.
Okay. So, I am guessing in the same business was the first time you ever earned something, right? So, the first time you got money in your hand, like that feeling when you have something that you've earned and now you have the ability to spend it without asking anyone, right? That this is my money. How was that feeling, and like how has, now that you have you are being paid since so many years, how has relationship with money been?
First of all, I've been very fortunate, grateful for all the things that my parents provided. But at the same time, kids nowadays, I'll consider myself kid.
Okay.
And at that time also I was a kid. I was too prominent. I want to earn on my own. I want to live on my own. I want to eat on my own. I'll not disagree. Currently, it's still the same.
Okay.
So when I first earned something, it was very beautiful. All I wanted to do is reinvest into that business. Because that business gave me a gift, so I wanted to gift it back. So that's what I did. From my first earning, I bought a billing machine.
Okay.
And I kind of gifted that to my business.
That's really nice. And I'm sure it must have, been the part of that business for a very long time. Okay, so
I still have it.
Oh, that's great. So the vegetable business, and then what did you move? Like, where did you go from there?
So it was like a spark. When it got started, I started to get a lot of opportunities.
Okay.
So what happened was, again, so I think this loss-making business had some connection with me.
Okay.
So what happened was, my aunt approached me. So she had a restaurant, and that was also loss-making.
Okay.
So it was just flow of opportunities. I just grabbed onto it. It was like a train of opportunities, and I kept doing it.
So you basically have become very good at finding what's wrong and fixing it. Okay, so now tell me what so many juniors that you have in your college, and you've seen their startups, you've seen them trying from scratch to build a startup. If you were the mentor who's trying to fix a loss-making startup, what are the mistakes that these students, first-year students or second-year students generally make? What is it that they're missing, or what is it that they're going wrong with?
One thing that I really think, people should go out of the comfort zone.
Okay.
So when I came to Jaipur, my only aim was to go out of my comfort zone and to meet as many people as I can.
Okay, no, going out of your comfort zone sounds like a very good line. And I am very sure all the students have heard it before.
Correct.
tell me very specifically what do these students do so that we can, when we're done with this podcast, we can actually go to them, and when they actually listen to this podcast, they have a very specific thing that now that we want to get out of our comfort zone, now that we want to grow, this is a small thing, this is the first step we'll take, or this is what we're going to do. Just a random example or just one small thing that they can do to get out of the comfort zone, to be better.
The one thing which changed my life was a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay, Dale Carnegie?
Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie, yeah.
So that changed my life. So after that, my relationship with my people and everyone changed like this.
Okay.
So that's an interesting take.
That is a very old book, right? Fair enough. So you recommend that book to all the juniors, at least a lot of them?
Definitely.
Okay.
And also to urge to interact with people.
Okay.
So lot of time people have hesitation कि should I go,
बिल्कुल.
खुद से effort डाले क्या, सामने से ऐसा बात करे क्या,
क्या सोचेंगे, इग्नोर कर देंगे, my friends would laugh at me,
ज्यादा फ्लैशी हो रहा है क्या, ज्यादा खुद से आ रहा है क्या. बट वो सब छोड़ के अगर खुद से तुम मिलना चालू करोगे, one thing I've learned from that book, people love to talk about themselves.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. That's what we're here doing. Yeah. Right, every podcast there is just some guy who is great at what they do, but that's what they're doing essentially, right? Talking about themselves for 3 continuous hours. So if you enable someone, you give them the right atmosphere, people love to talk about themselves. And luckily we have students like you and a couple of other mentors who, when they start talking about themselves, we get to learn so much, or the juniors get to learn so much from their experience. Like I said, you have collected so much experience, which is so much more valuable than money could ever be, right? So one of your experience, which a lot of our students also experience, is moving from Maharashtra to Rajasthan, from Bombay to Jaipur, right? What was that change like? Was it intentional, or were you forced by the situation to do it? And how did you take it? And now when you look back at it, what's it like?
So as you know, everyone has a low period. I still consider this as a beginning of my journey. I still yet to face a lot of low periods, and I'm waiting for it. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I had a small low-key low period during COVID.
Okay.
So imagine this thing. I have all the brick and mortar business which runs physically.
Yeah.
And achanak COVID hit.
This is
and it's all shut. So I was lost my path. I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. And I was confused.
Okay.
So after COVID got over, I realized that my relationship with my parents are not that good.
Okay.
My relationship with money is not that good at that point of time.
Fair enough.
With my business, which I had, was down, was closed.
Okay.
So I had to start back again. So I also started with stock market, which was my first love.
Okay, once again from what you started in your childhood.
Again.
You went back to it. Okay.
But this time I went so deep into it.
Okay.
So deep into it, I learned futures, options. So I'm very proficient in all future options. And I have done a lot of trades. At one point, I started to crave experience. कि पैसा तो कमा लिया, इतना पता है कि पैसा कमा सकते हैं. अभी नहीं तो 10 साल बाद कमा सकते हैं, 5 साल बाद कमा सकते हैं.
तो वो अभी नहीं तो बाद में
प्रूफ मिल गया कि हाँ पैसा कमा सकते हैं, चिल है. ऐसा भी नहीं कि प्रूफ करना है पेरेंट्स को कि कर सकते हैं, कुछ कर सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस का वो हो रहा था क्योंकि what happened is due to all the businesses, even COVID, even this thing, मेरा कॉलेज लाइफ हो गया, मेरा एक्सपीरियंस हो गया, प्रोफेशनल एक्सपीरियंस भी हो गया. I haven't earned that. सब प्रोफेशनली आ रहा था.
ठीक है.
So what I chose कि let's take a step back. तो I was doing good at stock market, but still वो experiences वाला urge था कि experience लेते हैं and और explore करते हैं. So I wanted to explore, but at the same time learn. And learn.
Okay.
Earn का तो मेरा प्रायोरिटी नहीं था क्योंकि कॉन्फिडेंस आ गया था. When you prove yourself कि हाँ आ गया तो चिल है.
जब
तो
चाय
कोई
पैसे तो जब चाय बना लेंगे.
हाँ कोई वांदा नहीं है, ऐसे भी नहीं खाने पीने का वांदा है, तो आई कैन मैनेज माई सेल्फ, तो ठीक है.
Fair enough.
तो व्हाट आई डिड, आई स्टार्टेड टू लुक फॉर कॉलेजेस जिसमें मेरे को सीखने को भी मिले और एक्सपीरियंस भी
Experience
मिले.
भी मिले.
मेरे को बेस्ट थिंग लगा, मैं जीसीसी के बारे में पता लगा, उसमें 3 घंटे का कॉलेज, उसके ऊपर इंटर्नशिप करो या फिर बिजनेस करो. दैट वाज द थिंग रियली, बोलते हैं ना, पिन मारा मेरे को कि वो चीज मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा.
And no one's doing, like, there is no alternative to GCC anyway, if I'm not wrong. Because there are a lot of colleges that are just either experiential or learning something and being able to implement it the very next, like this very same day. That I think a lot of students have, gained experience on, because you learn something in your class, you go to your class, you learn something in your history lesson and you forget about it. Exam aata hai, usse pehle you learn about it and then you vomit it on the paper and that's it for you, right? Here, from what I heard students, and I hope you had the same experience, that they get to learn something and then within the matter of hours they're at a factory where they can apply it, right? So वो experience करी हुई चीजें भूलती नहीं है, वो habit में आ जाती हैं. So did you also have such experiences?
डेफिनेटली. वन ऑफ द थिंग्स इज, बहुत सारे लोग कंप्लेन करते हैं, बहुत सारे लोग आर नॉट ग्रेटफुल फॉर एनीथिंग. तो वैसे लोग के लिए तो कुछ भी काम नहीं करेगा. अगर तुम हार्वर्ड भी जाओगे तो भी काम नहीं करेगा. इट्स बीइंग रिसोर्सफुल ऑफ व्हाट यू हैव. अगर मैं कंपेयर करूं, मुंबई में बहुत सारे कॉलेजेस है, बट स्टिल आई डोंट रिग्रेट माई डिसीजन कमिंग टू जयपुर. इवन टू दिस डे, इवन पॉडकास्ट के बाहर आप पूछो, आई स्टिल से आई एक्चुअली आई एम ग्रेटफुल that I came to Jaipur, joined GCC and had these experiences.
That's great. So now that we have had, like, such a long journey that you've had and you've gained so much experience, so much knowledge from it, what is going on presently and what are your future plans?
Currently, I'm running a digital marketing agency.
Okay.
So almost a year ago, I started off as a website development freelancer. And it all got started when I was doing internship under Tushar sir and Paresh sir.
Okay, you did the internship as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So what happened was, मैंने कभी जीवन में internship नहीं किया.
अच्छा.
तो वो थोड़ा वो भी था कि बिजनेस ही किया, internship कैसा करूं. बट मेरा अर्ज था परेश सर, तुषार सर के साथ काम करना है एक बार.
So you did that while doing your graduation or before that?
Now, 1 साल पहले.
अच्छा, that is very recent then.
1 साल पहले, बिफोर स्टार्टिंग माई एजेंसी. सो आई यूज्ड टू डू इवेंट्स, आई यूज्ड टू डू लॉट ऑफ इवेंट्स. अलग अलग स्टेट्स में जाता था, दिल्ली जाता था, एंड एक्सपीरियंस पे फोकस था. बट मेरे को कहीं ना कहीं वो मेंटरशिप और वो का थोड़ा सा चाह था परेश सर, तुषार सर से. इसके लिए आई जॉइन CUT Pro एज ऑपरेशंस लीड एंड आई डिड अ इंटर्नशिप ओवर देयर. उसके बाद कहीं ना कहीं इट फेल्ट लाइक आई शुड focus on one lane.
Yeah.
Because that is also very important.
Yeah, it is.
So what I did was I took a big step to leave that internship and to start my own digital marketing agency.
Okay.
Initially, it wasn't a digital marketing agency. It was a website development agency. Okay. So it all got started with one single conversation which I had with a teacher who used to teach in CUT Pro.
Okay.
Unka shout out to Sachin sir if he's actually
I'm sure
watching
he
it.
would be watching, yeah.
तो ऐसा ही बात हो रहा था. एंड हम क्लासरूम में बैठे थे. CUT Pro इज कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट फॉर, इट्स फाउंडेड बाय तुषार सर, परेश सर. तो हम क्लासरूम में बैठे थे, वो हिस्ट्री सर है.
ओके.
तो हिस्ट्री सर ऐसे बोलते हैं कि दुर्गेश तुझे क्या करना है आगे. तो मैं बोला कि अभी तो मैं एक्सपीरियंस के लिए आया हूँ, सीखने के लिए आया हूँ. ऐसा इंटर्नशिप है ये नहीं सोच रहा हूँ, सीखने को मिल रहा है ये सोच रहा हूँ. इवन इफ बिजनेस किया है, एक्सपीरियंस है 6 साल का, तभी तो 6 साल का था. तो ऐसे ही दिल से निकला कि मुझे वेबसाइट डेवलपमेंट चालू करना है. कोडिंग आता नहीं है बट चालू करना है. रैंडम चालू
इन द कन्वर्सेशन
एंड ही वाज लाइक कर ले, हो जाएगा.
और वो हो गया.
Genuinely हो गया.
Happens. It's just I was talking to this other person, and this is the definition of being lucky, right? Like being at the right place at the right time. That is all luck is. You, like, just one conversation made you start a business. Imagine you would have been absent on that day. or you would have met him some other day. Maybe you were doing something completely different in your life, right? Okay, so now that we have the past, the present, what does your future look like?
So currently I am expanding my agency.
Okay.
It's from past 20 to 25 days it's
Okay.
been restructuring, so there has been a lot of changes. So we are also expanding into content creation, as well as I'm also planning to automate my website development part. So
Automate as in?
automate as in which doesn't require my presence to be
But your
operated.
it does require a human present.
Correct.
Okay. Because automated these days could just be AI doing stuff. You never know, right?
Correct. That's also a reason क्योंकि website development from my perspective will die in some years.
Okay.
Let's say 10 years, 5 years. So I want to focus more on digital marketing
Other
and things
yeah.
which I like.
Fair enough.
So that's the future plan.
That's great.
What I think my biggest asset is कि जो out of the comfort zone जाके लोगों को मिलना है, बात करना है, effort डालना है, that I think बहुत लोग में missing होता है. That I genuinely think. उसमें तो मैं confident ही कि अगर लोग उसमें थोड़ा सा काम करेंगे ना तो they'll see lot of relationship change.
Okay.
Even professionally इसमें.
So what you're saying is people don't do that, or you are not able to do that?
I'll not criticize कि people don't do that. I'll just say कि I do that a lot. I make sure that I do that a lot. अगर मैं comfort zone में भी जा रहा हूँ तो I make sure I meet some people. तो अगर मैं सबसे lowest zone में भी हूँ, समझो एक stagnant हो रहा है मेरा life.
Okay.
तो अपने आप आ जाते हैं हफ्ते में कि 5 लोग से दिन में मिलना है.
चलो let's go out, let's meet some people.
मिनिमम 5 लोग से. चाहे मैं शूज का लेस के लिए पूछ रहा हूँ कि क्या किसके लिए पूछ रहा हूँ, 5 लोग से बात करना है मेरे को.
Okay.
तो वो मेरा स्टैग्नेंट रहता ही है. कभी भी ऐसा लाइफ हुआ तो वो तो चालू करना ही है मेरे को.
सही. And then you don't know what, sometimes you're cribbing about your problems and your situation and you meet random people and they, in spite of so many problems, are so much happier than you कि आपकी प्रॉब्लम छोटी लगने
बहुत छोटी लगती है. भगवत गीता में भी मेंशन किया था. हाँ.
बहुत छोटी लगने लग जाती है. नहीं, इस बात पे रो रहा था मैं. And then you get up and you
फिर grateful होते हैं अपन.
appreciating everything around you, and then you work double as hard as you would have, right?
Definitely.
So that just going out and just going out for a walk, going to the market or walk in a park, right? You see people around you and then you realize how blessed you have been. So that is one nice thing I would also suggest all the juniors to do it. I understand.
Also one thing कि हम इंटर्नशिप भी कर रहे हैं, खुद का समझ के नहीं करते.
हाँ, वो तो
ऐसा कर रहे हैं कि 9 to
कंपल्शन है, बस
कंपल्शन है. ये पैसा स्टाइपेंड मिल रहा है, करके खत्म करते हैं. बट मेरे को सबसे ज्यादा अगर मैं देखूं सीखने को एंड इवन जो रिवॉर्ड मिला है मेरे को, एफर्ट्स के पीछे रिवॉर्ड मिला है, वो ऐसी चीजों के भी मिला है जिसपे मैंने एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट्स डाले कि एक्स्ट्रा जाके बात की है, एक्स्ट्रा जाके खुद से किया है, खुद का समझ के मैंने ज्यादा किया.
Yeah, the extra mile, like going the extra mile, because people would do, everyone would do as much as it's needed, right? कि अगर इतने घंटे काम करना है तो सब करेंगे and then they'll go home. Only the people who actually would stay for an hour or two, getting out of comfort zone.
I'll to say initial phases में you have to get yourself exploited.
Okay.
तुम exploit हो जाओ,
हाँ,
पूरा exploit हो जाओ, सब समझ जाओ, फिर जाके you will earn for what you're worth it.
The problem is also with the terminology, because you don't know what the terminology means in today's time. Right? You say something and people interpret that in so many different ways that you can't even imagine, right? So terminology, what you meant, I'll just clarify for people listening there. Getting exploited means getting overworked.
Correct.
Right? That is what we both
Correct.
meant.
I guess वो तो समझ ही लेंगे.
हाँ. You never know. You have to be very clear about it. Because terms these days mean anything you want it to mean, right? Okay, so now that you've shared your future plan also, tell me I just want to know one moment that, you thought of giving up. I know that you are comparatively positive a person, but then was there a time when you just wanted to get rid of everything and then just run away? Or, just break everything, or just be away from all the mess or all this reality?
So even in COVID, मेरा कभी आई गेस बचपन से ऐसा नहीं रहा है कि करियर फोकस्ड हुई नहीं मैं. ऐसा एक साल नहीं गया होगा जिसमें मैं
अच्छा।
करियर के बारे में सोचा नहीं हूँ कि करियर के बारे में नहीं करना है, ऐसा मौज कर रहे हो,
So,
सब कर रहे
बचपन से ही वही सिखाया गया है,
हैं।
बचपन से
सिखाया
वही
गया और
चलता है।
वैसा ही हूँ मैं। इवन ड्यूरिंग कोविड जब भी कुछ नहीं था,
हम्म।
सो आई स्टार्टेड गेमिंग। तो गेमिंग में भी आई डिडंट यूज टू डू कि गेम खेलना है मौज
शौक
के
के
लिए।
लिए खेलना है।
आई यूज टू डू कि मेरे को ई स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर बनना है। तो आई प्लेड लॉट ऑफ टूर्नामेंट्स ऑल्सो।
ओके।
टीम बनाया था, टूर्नामेंट्स खेलते थे हम, खुद का ऑर्गेनाइज भी कर। तो छोटा छोटा चीजें चलता ही रहता था करियर से, ऐसा बड़ा माइंड लेके कि ऑर्गेनाइज कर लिया
So
टूर्नामेंट्स।
basically anything and everything you like, from what I understand, and I hope the people listening to this also do, anything and everything that you do, you put your heart and soul into it. That's the key.
But what happened was that esports wala dream, I was really into it. I put my 6 months into it. I used to work very hard. तो
Okay.
मौज छोड़ के जो मेरे दोस्त लोग गेम खेल रहे हैं वो मौज वाला खेल रहे थे। आई यूज्ड टू सी माई सेल्फ कि मैं ट्रेन कर रहा हूँ खुद को लोगों से लोगों भी कर रहा हूँ मैं ऑनलाइन बैठ के डिस्कॉर्ड पे उस सब पे। आई वाज रियली इनटू इट, बट somehow that dream got shattered.
Maybe that's what it's supposed to be.
Correct.
Right. Maybe that's, if you would have become a gamer, maybe things wouldn't have been as good as they are today.
क्योंकि आई रियली हैड अ होप कि रिस्पॉन्स अच्छा मिल रहा था। आई यूज्ड टू विन लॉट ऑफ टूर्नामेंट्स, बट द थिंग वाज इट ब्रोक समहाउ एट दैट पॉइंट। वो गिव वाला आया था।
But I am sure, like today, if you think about it, I am sure you can very confidently say that I gave my 100%.
110%.
So that is the end of it. Like that's all you can do. And now that you are so happy about it, that I gave my 100%. I did the best I could. The results don't really matter. I gave it, and then everything else is just fine, right? You move on from
उल्टा लो पीरियड आना चाहिए, तुम्हें सीखने को मिलता है बहुत सारी
बिल्कुल
चीजें।
बिल्कुल। So like I said in the very beginning of the podcast, Durgesh is one of the richest student I've had. He is so rich in experience, and I hope that you learned from his experience and that you could share some of his wealth and benefit from it. Durgesh, thank you so much for being here, and we're very proud of you, and best of luck for whatever you do in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.